Hello everyone, I am here to answer everyone's most pressing number one question that I've received about this car. Is the Lucid Air microfiber rag compatible with the Lucid Gravity? Let's find out. I'm going to open this up. Fun fact, Lucid forgot to include one of these with my Lucid Air. So this is my first experience with the official Lucid microfiber rag. Let's give it a shot real quick. I got some dirty spots in my car. I think that works. Let's try it on the screen. You know what? Actually, this material is kind of different. If I did this in the Lucid Air, that would be full of scratches right now. The Lucid Air screen scratched up so crazy. I would never do this in the Lucid Air, but this feels more like real glass. This is really nice. Okay. All right. So, I just wanted to catch everyone up on what's been going on this week. Been a crazy week, been a fun week, but I've learned some things about what I want to do with this channel, and I thought I'd share here. This is not really scripted. I don't know if I'm going to have to edit it or not, but I'm just going to try to get it in one shot. The car's amazing. Like, I can't even describe it. I'll try to get into that later. We will be having Lucid Mobile Service come out later next week. They're going to update the key, and I'm going to have them check some other things. So far, my service checklist is my front trunk opens twice, kind of like unlocks and then unlocks and opens again. Not a huge deal. My Dream Drive, though. The Dream Drive works pretty well. Really pretty well, but you can tell the lines, it thinks the lines are straight, and then there at the very end it leans to the left, so the car will just pull to the left a slight bit. I think the cameras need to be aligned. I think that's what they do, so I'm not too worried about it, but I think that means it might have to actually go into service. Other issues, my buttons. Lucid. Not going to get into that. Okay, so what else? Because I don't want to have to look at my list, but I think I'm going to. Let me just pull this up real quick so that I don't waste a lot of my time. First off, I want to say thank you to Edmunds for making the point that the buttons don't work reliably. That is my biggest issue, is that they work and then they don't work. And that is what is so scary. Again, different video. We seem to have lost our cellular connection from the car. So, when the key update came out, I wasn't able to use my app. I never got the update. So I called service. They walked me through getting on Wi-Fi, which I had tried before, but I guess I didn't try enough, and it worked the second time. So I was able to jump the car on Wi-Fi, and it was able to download the key update, reboot it and everything. But as soon as I leave the house, it goes offline. Let me just see, because you know what? I think it's actually online, and that's going to be really funny. Oh, my top screen's not responding. Okay, so that side's responding. So what's here? Let's try this. Oh, okay. So the wheel works. Oh. Okay, well, everything works except for the 4 little home row icons. I don't know what that's about. You know, and I will make mistakes in my video. I'm just going to leave them in for the most part. I'll try to correct them in, like, you know, caption style, but I'm just trying to be a real owner. I'm not trying to be someone you should take my word at face value for. So always be skeptical. Don't have to believe me. That's great. I'm just here to provide my perspective, which I'll get into later. So for example, just one of my mistakes is when I test drove it with Simon in one of my other videos, he asked what the charging time was, and I completely blanked. So I had said something like 10 to 80 in 12 minutes, which I was thinking of 200 miles in 12 minutes. That's what was in my brain. So, hey, I make mistakes. I see mistakes in videos all the time. It happens. We're all human. Sometimes that makes it feel like, oh yeah, they're human too. So I don't mind that. Um, I do feel like there was one other issue that I can't remember now. So I'm going to take a moment to think because I want to make sure I can remember all of these things off the top of my head. I don't love to work with notes. I don't like to work with scripts. I don't like to, because I can get very wordy as is. So writing things down makes it more wordy for me. Also related to the Edmunds video, what are they talking about in some of these things? Like, the back seats are fine. When you fold them down, it's fine. I do kind of wonder, like, I folded down the seats with a pillow there. I might have to demonstrate that later. So there's a few things that I haven't learned in the car yet. Only have 1,000 miles, but I did do Cars and Coffee the other day. If you haven't seen that video, wow, I got some really cool reactions. That was a crazy event. I did not expect to see all that. So it's been really cool. I also met some owners. Two owners. They own a Dream Air and 2 Dream Gravities, which, I mean, talk about a dream garage. My goodness. So I just want to cover some other news. This channel is going to be more than Gravity. So if that's what you're here for, if you're only here for Gravity, I get it. Everyone probably don't turn on the little bell thing, because I don't know what I'm going to upload yet. Not everything's going to be about the Gravity, and not everything's going to be relevant to everyone. So this channel is going to be a little bit experimental, just a little bit, but it is what it is. So first up, another Tesla recall on their new 3s and new Ys for batteries. So as is, I'm not sure the industry as a whole has solved all of the battery gremlins. I've had my own experience with a 2019 Chevy Bolt where GM just basically refused to acknowledge the problem. They didn't tell me anything personally for 6 months. I had made multiple complaints to the dealership. I had even requested in paper a new battery for that car about 3 months before they started actually doing something publicly, but it probably wasn't even 9 months before they actually initiated the recall, and that was absurd. So, battery fires are setting the industry back. As a whole, I think a lot of people really have concerns, and some people in my comments have said, oh, that's FUD. Everybody has FUD about something. It's kind of why I'm here to just tell my experience. I've really had good experiences. I know other people haven't, and that's just how life is. So all of my experiences have been pretty good. Over the years, I've had a lot of interesting experiences, and I hope to share more backstory with you soon. This video is already way longer than I thought it would be. But no more CarPlay in GM cars going forward. Basically, not immediately, but pretty soon there will be no more CarPlay or Android Auto in GM cars, and that is a big dumb move. I don't know why they are doing that. I won't be going back. Part of the reason I took the 2023 Chevy Bolt was specifically because it had CarPlay and Android Auto, so I'm very glad I did that. And in other news, the internet went down, so everyone couldn't get their apes. But as we get more and more into connected cars, what's gonna happen if that kind of outage affects Lucid? Will we all lose access to our app? I think that's a question to think about for the future. And an interesting tidbit for Florida drivers: if you have Progressive, which I happen to have, we will be expecting a $300 refund in a check, because apparently Progressive made too much money this year, too many profits, so they will be distributing it back to the customers, which, hey, kind of crazy. So yeah, that's just some of the news this week, some of what was on my mind. I have a lot of content planned. I'm trying not to overload myself. I'm trying not to go too fast. I'm not trying not to do too much. I will touch on one other thing in this recording. I won't be doing a traditional range test. You're seeing them all over right now. Everybody's doing them. Tom's doing them. I've heard about it in person. I've seen it. But you're not going to see me do it because I personally do not believe those tests have any bearing in reality anymore. I don't really think they're relevant. That's not how anybody drives. I live in Florida. It's currently 91 out. I have my air conditioner set to max low and a fan speed of 3, and I would die if it was any lower than that. Like, I just would have a heat stroke. I can't drive around with 1 fan speed or, 70-degree weather. I just don't have that here. So I also don't really think that's how people drive for the most part. Yes, everybody road trips. Yes, everybody does this, does that. But all the studies show the average American drives about 40 miles a day. I don't think all these range tests are actually all that important anymore. When you can go 350 miles without really trying, you're going to find a working station somewhere on your way, I don't like to get down to 5%. It's too dangerous. We have to be careful. So I just charge at 20, and you know what? I never had a problem. So you're not going to see those kind of traditional tests from me. I'm here to provide real world data, real driving. Nobody drives with their air conditioner off. I drive with my seat massage on. I didn't buy this car to drive around without the luxuries just to see how far I could go. I don't really feel like wasting miles going up and down a horribly congested highway that I'm not going to be able to maintain 70 miles per hour on anyway. So I just won't be doing that kind of content. I've been an EV owner since 2012. It was a Chevy Volt. If you don't think that was an EV, sorry, but kind of wrong. So yeah, I didn't have DC fast charging for the first 7 years. Drove electric every day. I know not everybody has home charging, but I'm gonna be honest, if you don't have home charging, I don't think I would recommend an EV to you as your first choice. I just don't think the infrastructure is there, and I think it's kind of too much to put on one person to be able to expect them to only use public chargers. Now, obviously people do, and hey, great. Seriously, that takes dedication. But I think most people who would be best suited to an EV would have an opportunity for home charging anyway. So if you're here for hard numbers, hard testing, the kind of, big name testing, you're probably just not going to find that here. I'm going to do numbers, I'm going to do real experiences, but I'm not going to set up any sort of artificial test because that's not very fun. I want to do fun stuff on this channel. So yeah, I have a lot more planned. I don't know what I can say yet. So let's just see how this weekend goes, and I'll check in with y'all soon. Thanks for checking in. See ya.